Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program. Today's podcast guest is Jason Crow. He is the former partnership director for Precision Nutrition. That is actually how we met. Now he is one of the founding owners of a company called the Sage House, where they do investment and other types of consulting for health and fitness businesses. Super excited for him on his next adventure. But today we are talking all about partnerships and mistakes to avoid. Partnerships are a really great strategy to align yourself with like-minded business owners. In today's episode, we're going to talk all about how to do it, what things you should do, and how to align yourself with the right types of business owners and partners. I've personally learned a lot from Jason over the years in regards to partnerships, just how he's interacted with me as we've built a relationship with Precision Nutrition. Love this guy. He's a wealth of knowledge. I really hope that you enjoy this episode all on partnerships. We will get to that episode right after this message. Healthy Steps Nutrition is hosting a live workshop for gym owners and coaches. It is going to be so much fun, September 16th and 17th in Nashville, Tennessee. If you are a gym owner or a coach looking to level up your coaching experience using a holistic approach, if you are looking to truly help your clients transform their health and their lives through a more holistic framework, not just through fitness, not just through nutrition, but really looking at the whole person, I can tell you from experience, this increases the length of engagement with clients, adds revenue, and adds jobs for people in your community. We would love for you to join us. This event is not just for gym owners and coaches in the Healthy Steps Nutrition family. Anyone can attend. All you need to do is click the link in the show notes and buy your ticket. Again, it's Nashville, Tennessee, September 16th and 17th. There are only a few tickets left, and once they're sold out, they are sold out. I hope to see you in Nashville, Tennessee for the Healthy Steps Nutrition live workshop. All right, let's get to this episode all on partnerships. Jason, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
It is fantastic to be here. Thank you for having me.
We go way back.
We do.
And now you're doing a new adventure, the Sage House. Super excited for all the things that you guys are going to be doing to help businesses in the health and fitness space. The reason why we're talking today is because I consider you one of the best people to talk about partnerships with companies. You headed up the partnership division of PN for the longest time, which is how we got connected.
That's how we got connected.
And you are so good at this piece of the puzzle. And I think so many business owners don't even realize the value of setting up partnerships and really nurturing those relationships.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, again, appreciate you having me on. And it is like, this is, you and I have known each other for almost 4 years, which, you know, is just so amazing to think about, because you're exactly right. Our relationship started when I was reaching out, quite frankly, for a partnership. And maybe like, should we start with like how you and I came to know each other?
Yeah. So we started getting some questions from coaches that were like, hey, Nicole, what do you think about precision nutrition? Like, I want to get some additional nutrition coaching information. And I was like, I don't know. I've never taken the course. Let me reach out to them. I reach out to them, and then you respond back like within minutes. It feels like now. I'm sure it was a little bit longer than that, but you responded right back. And like, hey, let's jump on a call. And that's essentially how it started, I think.
Yeah. And what was amazing about how you and I met was PN at the time was noticing that we were getting a lot of people coming in and taking our certification program and saying that they were a CrossFit coach. And that isn't a market that we had ever gone after or really promoted, but we wanted to figure out, what is going on in CrossFit and why are they buying our certification? And we did a bunch of customer research because we need to figure out, and we'll get into this, I think, a little bit later, talking about what problem we were trying to solve potentially with a partnership, and realized that people were mentioning your name. They were mentioning that they were doing HSN, they were doing the Healthy Steps Nutrition mentoring, and had heard about precision nutrition. So I was like, okay, well, let's figure this out. And I put you on a list of companies that we were potentially going to contact. And in the exact same week, somehow you reached out and you and I got connected and started what has been 4 years of a fantastic friendship.
Yeah, it's truly, I consider you just a great friend and a great person to bounce different ideas off of. And it's been really fun.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, so that problem that we were trying to solve is, hey, our coaches wanted continuing education. We provide some, but the PN does a really good job with the metabolism piece and all these other aspects of our training that wasn't really hit on at the level that the PN certification was. So when our coaches were looking for that continuing education development, I'm like, man, I want a company that aligns with the same habit-based approach that we have. And this company does a really great job. So it was a natural fit for us together. Right.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times what ends up happening is we make a giant list of like all of these companies and they don't really align with what we are looking to do as a company. When a business owner is thinking about setting up partnerships, we're not meant to partner with every single person, every single company. What are the things that you look for when you're setting up partnerships with the Sage House now and when you were with PN?
Yeah, and this is actually one of the areas of expertise, I think, for the Sage House. So just very, very quickly on the Sage House, if I can do a shameless plug. So the Sage House is a collection of myself, Jim Kroll, who used to be the CEO of OPEX, and Jenna Randolph, who is the head of marketing for Explore. The company owns True Coach and Mariana Tech and PT Minder. The three of us have come together and essentially have created a consulting and investment firm that has a pretty broad mix of functional expertise. Do sales, business development, and marketing. Jim is a competitive strategy wizard and former hedge fund guy, so he knows all about financial modeling and money raising. And Jenna obviously is an amazing marketer that has seen both an agency side and worked on the client side, so kind of knows how both sides of that table looks. But specifically on the partnership side, it's interesting that you say that, because you're exactly right. We work with a number of different companies that are just baffled about the idea of what partnering means, right? And I think the thing that holds a lot of people back first and foremost is two things: ego and fear. The ego piece is a lot of people saying, I can do it myself. I don't need anybody else. I'm, amazing. And that's great as a self-affirmation. But at the same time, being able to partner with people and being a legitimate partner actually helps accelerate your expansion and helps you. And this is the kind of biggest first step for me always, is solve problems that maybe you aren't able to solve yourself, or you're not able to buy yourself out of, but you can partner with someone who's an expert or who has access to a particular audience, and you can together solve each other's problems together. So maybe the first step I would say in any sort of partnership is, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Step one. And then everything kind of builds from there.
There are so many different ways that you can set up partnerships, right?
Yes.
So many different things. So you got to figure out what problem you're solving.
Yeah.
I would say also, like, where are your ideal clients at, right? Because if you're partnering with all of these different companies that aren't attracting the people you actually want to work with, you might be solving a problem, but you're not actually attracting things that are going to help your business.
That's it, right? You can create, if you are trying to solve a problem and create yourself three more, I would say that is an ineffective partner strategy.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think you always want to go in with a help first mentality, right? Like, okay, how can I help your business, be more successful? How can I take my audience and reach your business that likely are your ideal clients? But that company that you're looking to partner with needs to be able to do something for you, like for your business. It has to be a win-win. What are some of the ideas that you have around creating a win-win relationship with partnerships?
I think it's a great point. I will start off by saying, and I hope I don't have to repeat this, trading discounts is not a partnership. That's a co-marketing arrangement. It is very low barrier to entry. They don't really work. Stay away from those. First step, figure out what problem you're going to solve. Second step, in my opinion, figure out what you're really good at so that you can subsequently offer to help somebody else and solve a problem for them. Because that is exactly where partnerships start to really sing. And it's not just about exposing, new audiences. That in a lot of cases can be one thing, but you don't want to get necessarily just into the audience trading game. You want to get into a situation where you and that partner potentially are creating something new together, leveraging each other's strengths that potentially gets taken out to an entirely new audience for both of you. And now you're not in that situation where one person or one organization feels like they're getting more from the relationship. You're both legitimately acting as partners to go and challenge, to go out and again, solve problems together. So first step, problems. Second step, what are you willing to do? And this is like one of those moments when it comes back to ego and fear. If you start to find yourself saying, well, I got to figure out how I can give as little as possible, but take as much as possible, I am telling you right now, it's not going to work. No. Right? Like you have to, and that's why we call it a partnership. It has to, in the same way that you would approach a social or romantic relationship, if you're instantly starting by thinking, how can I take more from this than I'm willing to give? It's probably not going to work. And business partnerships fall into the exact same category.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point, right? Like you have to be willing to do something that's going to benefit them. They need to do something that's going to benefit you as well. And I think, sometimes it's coming and mapping out in your mind, okay, what does success look like for me to partner with this company? What can I provide? And what do I want them to do? And you need to really figure that out before having conversations, and at least initial conversations, figure out what are you wanting out of this? Because if you don't even know, then you're going to end up giving a lot, and they haven't even defined what they're going to give to you to help your business. So, you really need to figure that out. I want to give a couple examples, and I'd love for you to chime in here too. Sure. For gym owners, let's say you set up a partnership. Like we have a partnership with a local restaurant, Papa's Rubber. Great place here locally. Troy, the owner, super involved in the community. Our logo is on their ceiling. Our logo is on their menu. Whenever we talk about eating healthy, I guide people to there. We eat there all the time. We do stuff together regular. He's been on our podcast. We go on their podcast. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement for both of us with exposure on both ends. But I know whenever I do a nutrition challenge or anything in the community, I know that he will sponsor it. I send him a quick text, the owner of the company, hey, Troy, we're doing this thing. Would you guys want to be involved and sponsor it? We'll put your logo on things, and you give me a gift card that I can give out on a weekly mini challenge so that I can keep people engaged with my nutrition challenge with weekly prizes based on participation. That's a really great, easy strategy for a gym. If you're running a nutrition challenge, go to local companies and set up some small partnerships, and then you build off of that.
And I think you're spot on, right? And I think that, again, I think when people initially think about partnerships, they think about ways that we can trade discounts. And you provide a beautiful example of this symbiotic relationship between folks that are coming to the gym and a local service provider, a local restaurant. And what you've determined is that the two of you have mutual values when it comes to nutrition, and you can draw people together, you're kind of teaching them, and the restaurant is the execution of that, right? And the two of you can work together. And at some point, there could be menu items that you've put together or something like that. And the whole thing starts to really build upon itself. I'll throw out some other things that I think, particularly for gym owners, I've been, blown away that people aren't thinking about. Doctors' offices, physical therapists, chiropractors, that kind of thing. Local high schools, and we can get into all different examples of how these things, can potentially work. But I think there's always this belief that it has to be a financial relationship in some way, and it doesn't necessarily have to. If I think about a doctor's office, in particular, what does the doctor have? The doctor has a stream of patients coming in all day, and if you ask a doctor what the number one script that they're writing, it's antihypertensives, typically maybe a fast follow with any sort of diabetes diagnosis. Can you, as the gym owner, work with that doctor to provide services for their patients? Can similarly you come and do webinars to their patients? Not necessarily just talking and selling the gym and come to the gym and yada, 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 but providing value-added content for that physician to educate people in their homes about ways that they can, proactively approach healthy eating. So I think there's a number of different ways and we can get as wacky as you want, because that's what I love doing. But one of the things that you said earlier that I think is incredibly important is focus. You don't want to have a million relationships with a million different people, because these can be time consuming if you do them correctly. One of the things that you and I have certainly talked about in the past is this idea of continuing communication, right? And where a lot of partnerships fail with folks is that they set up a relationship, whatever it is, and then they walk away and they don't talk to each other anymore. And again, in the way that I like to build partner strategy, one of the things that, I want to include with that partner is, what are our success metrics? How often are you and I going to be meeting to talk about them? Make sure the partnership is still working both ways. We're both getting what we want out of it. Is there a way that we can pivot and, kind of like you were saying with the restaurant, expand on this relationship further? And, again, this person is your partner. So you want to be able to work with them, as opposed to just saying, here, we signed an agreement, on your way.
I think this is a really good point, because so many times we we host an event. We ask people to come set up a table or do something with our event so that, we can have some local businesses support it. And then we end and never follow up to continue to build on that relationship. And that's a missing piece that, I was talking to Stu Brower recently, and he was like, you as a gym owner, a micro gym owner, you have to be hyper relevant in your area. And what does that mean? You need a lot of people talking about you. You need people to see you everywhere they go. If they go to their kids' gymnastics facility and your banner is there and you're doing nutrition talks and they're emailing out a video of you talking about how to fuel your body before and after practices. And then they go to the doctor's office and you're there too, talking about how to eat healthy and stay on track. They're going to be like, man, when I'm ready for help, I need to go to Healthy Steps Nutrition or whatever your company is. The doctor's office, I truly believe that health starts in an affiliate. Health starts in a gym. Agreed. And it comes down to fitness, nutrition, and accountability. And so many people are missing one of those three pieces of the puzzle that own gyms. And when they build that, you are so valuable to doctor's office, massage therapists, chiropractors, because the truth is they don't have the time or the knowledge or the want to help people with these things. Like, you can position yourself as the expert and get out in the community and help people that would have never found your gym in the first place.
Yeah. And I think you're spot on. If we remember the very basics of adult learning principles, it's simple messages at a high frequency. So I think that if you are, exactly like you said, become a fixture within the community, and a very good friend of mine has just opened a gym in, we'll call it rural Wisconsin. And before she's even opened the door, she's established relationships with every fixture in that community and has these different programs that she's put together so that everywhere people go as they move throughout this community, they are going to hear or see about her and the health programs that she runs out of what just so happens to be a gym. I'll throw another wacky one that I think a lot of people, forget about: partnering with another gym. And that sounds so counterintuitive, but if you think about it, if somebody runs a hyper-focused gym modality or program, they're not a mass market gym, but they will have people coming into them to get kind of mass market services. And they might be a powerlifting gym or a boxing gym, let's say. If you're a more mass market general gym or a CrossFit gym or other big box gym, you can partner with them to say, listen, let's do some programming together whereby somebody who wants to get kind of like a broader array of services or modalities can come to my gym and we can sell a product together to do that. And for people that want to do boxing or want to do something super specialized, I'll send them to you. And again, ego and fear, if you can get past those two things, you're opening yourself to massive opportunities that if there's downturns in certain parts, and here's the thing, we know that we're kind of potentially coming into a rocky portion for the economy. And if one section seems to go down, you can be, the other piece of the puzzle can help support you.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of different ways that people can play these types of things. It's really just front end planning. Don't just charge, don't drive past the local high school, get on the phone and say, I've got this great idea. Have a plan before you do it.
I love it. Talk through it, figure out what are you wanting? What value can you provide? What value can they provide you? Make it clear, set those KPIs, what you were talking about. One thing that I learned from you watching our partnership build and really our friendship build over the past 4 years is you are so good with follow-up. And you mentioned it before, but I think a lot of times we say, okay, well, let me know, right? Like you leave the follow-up on the company that you want to partner with versus like you take ownership of the follow-up, you follow up with them and make sure that everything is good on both sides, that you continue to build that relationship and help support each other. What are some tips to help you stay on top of the follow-up game when it comes down to partnerships?
So I think there's a couple interesting pieces. And again, we can get into choosing a partner, which can take a long time, but let's just say that you've chosen a partner. One of the criteria that I use, quite frankly, is, do I see myself like befriending this person? Like, is this a person that I can get along with? And if the answer is no, then I'm probably not going to move forward with that partnership, even if it makes a lot of business sense. And I know that, again, is going to sound counterintuitive, but if you think about it again, a partnership is really a social relationship as much as it is a business one. And if you're involved with someone that just doesn't have the same ideals as you don't really jive with, you don't want to have a conversation about how to expand your relationship with, then it's not the right person. So first and foremost, it's going to be a person that I want to talk to in the first place. Second thing, and this is the simple stuff, use the technology. Set reminders in your Gmail, put little notes in your calendar, and follow up at a predetermined cadence so you don't have to remember it. The system will remind you, hey, every 3 months, Nicole and I are going to get on the phone together. And either I would reach out to the person or we've already set up that meeting 3 months earlier. And, for me, it was a little bit different. I'm in Toronto, Canada. You're obviously in South Florida. So we couldn't meet up. But if I'm a local gym owner and a lot of my relationships are established in the community, meet in the community, break bread, have a coffee, do something, have that personal connection with that individual. And you will find with that established relationship, you will want to do more with them. And subsequently, they will want to do more with you. And I will say this too, a strong working relationship can lead to other opportunities. I think it shouldn't go, we shouldn't go without saying, You are the person that introduced me to CrossFit HQ. Precision Nutrition did not have a relationship with CrossFit HQ prior to you making that introduction. So, here's a perfect example of two people. I think we're very good friends. I think we had a very good business partnership. You helped introduce me to another entire, group of people that we subsequently had a good relationship with. So ego and fear, get past them. You'll be great.
Awesome. I love it. And I think, you have to be okay with them not saying yes, or, hey, it's not a good time. That's okay. There's a million other local businesses that you can help. And I think now, especially with the economy, people don't have a huge marketing budget. So if they're able to do stuff organically without spending a ton of money on ads to become hyperly relevant, locally relevant themselves, it's going to help their business just as much as it's going to help you. And at the end of the day, you guys both will impact more people, which is ultimately why our businesses all exist in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think, every business owner, particularly in the gym space, has an idea, hopefully, about what their cost of acquisition is on a new member. And if that's the problem that you're trying to solve, let's just say, I can tell you unequivocally that doing so through somebody else, having a warm introduction, having a co-developed product together or co-developed content together will be significantly cheaper for your cost of acquisition than if you just ran your own paid media ads or anything like that.
If you think about it, it makes complete sense. If I post something or ask some friends for a referral for a plumber, and I've got the same person that's 10 people have told me this plumber is amazing, I'm calling this plumber. I'm not going to go to Google and search. I'm going to call the person that everyone's been talking about. You as a business owner need to be that person.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think the plumber example ties perfectly to what you said earlier, and the idea of being everywhere and sprinkling yourself across the community. Because let's be honest, if I talk to 3 people and ask them for a plumber and they all recommend the same person, I'm not phoning any other plumbers.
No.
I'm not going to do a cost comparison or anything like that, because I have to assume that if all 3 of these people that I trust have said this is the place to go, then it makes my life so much easier. And for the plumber, incredibly inexpensive to acquire new customers. Absolutely.
All right. As we wrap up today, business owners are like, okay, partnerships make sense. I need to do this thing. What's the first step you would recommend for people who are looking to start from scratch with partnerships?
Yeah. So this is going to, so first and foremost, I think we already said it, establish the problem, right? Because everything that comes after that, if you use the problem as the focal point of every decision after that, it'll make everything so much easier on you. So one is establish that problem. Once you figure out and have shortlisted a group of companies that you want to go in, again, don't pick up the phone just yet. Do your research ahead of time. Check everything out you can online, check out their socials, try and get a good snapshot of who this company is. Try and get every piece of information you can. Ask other people in the community, see what you can know about them before you pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. Because if you remember one of our first calls, I had already done a bunch of research on you. We came on the phone. I knew all about the mentoring program. I knew about the gym. I knew about the different pieces of what you do. And I could say, hey, here's what we do. Here's what I've seen online from you. I think we might be able to help each other here. Yep. What do you think? And if you just think about yourself for a second as a consumer, that's a perfect time for the door to ring. If somebody calls you and has a solution already laid out, and I have to do less work, or there's less, cognitive capacity that needs to go through that, I'm going to be more willing and interested to hear what this person has to say. But also, if you're going to establish a partnership, it's going to move quickly because you've already done 80% of the work. So do the work ahead of time, get ahead of yourself, go for it. Now, some people are going to say, listen, I love being a gym owner. I love talking to people that come into my gym because I feel like it's my safe space. They've come to me. Now I can talk to them. I don't really feel comfortable reaching out. Start small. if you're the type of person that just gets anxious in conversations with people, start in very small situations. I always tell people the best place to start a conversation with a stranger is in a coffee shop.
Love it.
Start with the barista, have a quick conversation, tell them what you're working on, ask them questions about, the work that they're doing. They're not going anywhere. They can't run away from you. They're trying to give you a coffee. Start there, and you can get your words under you in a situation with very limited risk, and then really build up from there. And then at some point you just pick up the phone and you go for it.
I love it. Or even better, go see them in person.
Go see them in person, 100%.
Stop by, let them see your face and how passionate you are about helping people, and just build that relationship. Yeah. Love it. As we wrap up, where can people find you, Jason?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of places. So again, we are now running at the Sage House. So thesagehouse.com, you can check out what we're working on. LinkedIn is probably the best place to find me. So just search Jason Crow, and that's Crow with an E. And I'm happy at any point to chat with anyone about the problems that you're having, or partnerships, or how we might be able to help you.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for all that you do. So excited to have you on the podcast. Hopefully I get to see you soon in person.
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're going for. Not even hoping, we're going for it. All right, Nicole, thanks very much.
Partnerships are something that takes work. I'm not going to say it's easy. You have to be intentional. And I think what I learned so much from Jason is not just setting up the partnership, but really fostering and engaging with ongoing communication so that you guys can continue to build this partnership together. You might partner with a local coffee shop. You might partner with another gym. Maybe there's a yoga studio or a bar studio in your CrossFit facility that is in tandem, that can go together with your gym, with your nutrition coaching program. That one might be a great partnership for you. I know that for us, we have some amazing partnerships with massage therapists, local restaurants where our logo is on the menu. You go to the CrossFit Games and the CrossFit logo is on almost every single restaurant. Imagine if your logo was on a bunch of menus at local restaurants in your neighborhood. If people could identify you as the place that's helping them eat healthy while they're eating out. These are the types of things that you can get creative with when you are setting up partnerships. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode on partnerships. Please subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and we will see you back here next week.